All right, welcome everybody to this evening's side-by-side Sunday presentation. We are so happy that you've joined us. Absolutely so grateful to have you here. Tonight we are going to be discussing how the Gideon Games blesses my life and my Brightline eating program and improves my Brightline eating program. I'm your host, Beth Monroe, and we have here with us Caroyln Price, Darla Gallew, and Jan Vanfleet are our panelists. Let's have a short introduction from each of us, and I'll start. I live in Benson, Arizona, but I started Brightline Eating in March of 2017 while I was living in Utah still back then. My husband and I have one son, Cooper, age 12, soon to be 13, and a golden doodle, Maggie, and also a 15-year-old exchange student, Roman, from Spain. I have been participating in Gideon Games since May of 2021. And even before that time, I did participate in the unofficial Gideon Games that was running back then, that is no longer running. That I started that back in January of 2020. I started in the unofficial Gideon Games. So that's a little bit about me. Caroyln, can you share a little bit about you?
Yes, I currently live outside San Antonio, Texas, in Cibolo, and I have 8 children, and we have 8 children and 4 grandkids, and we have 2 cats, neither one that we picked. I started Brightline Eating in 2019, 2020, actually in 2020. And then I've been on a Gideon Games team since July of this year.
Wonderful. Thank you, Caroyln. Darla.
Hi, I am currently living in Ammon, Idaho. I have 4 children that are kind of scattered around the country. I have 2 grandchildren. I've been married to my high school sweetheart for 38 years. And I started Brightline Eating in September of 2017. And I've been on Gideon Games team a little over 3 years.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Jan.
I live most of the year in Layton, Utah, but in the summer, my husband and I live in Soldotna, Alaska. Between us, we have 8 kids and 19 grandkids. I started Brightline Eating October 30th of 2015, but quit Brightline Eating at the end of 2017, early 2018. But I came back February 2nd, 2025. I'm super happy to be back home in Brightline Eating where I belong. And the first time I was unofficial, and so this is my first official round of Gideon Games.
Excellent. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you all for being here. I'm so excited to talk about this topic that is very dear to my heart with all of you. And you have some amazing thoughts to share, I know. So this is going to be great. I want to just briefly give an explanation of what is the Gideon Games. Some of you may not know. Yeah, some of you are listening to the recording, and some of you are here live. So the Gideon Games is the official Gideon Games is administered through Brightline Eating to the membership, and it is a team of 10 people following Brightline Eating who are responsible to report their score every day. Now, if you keep all 4 lines bright, no flour, no sugar, no snacking, and quantities, weighed and measured, then you get 1 point per day. If you don't keep your lines bright, any of the lines, if you break any of the lines, you get a 0 for the day. So 10 members on a team means that you have 70 points possible each week. And the team leader will report those points to Brightline Eating. Brightline Eating will rank the teams in order of the most points on the leaderboard. That's really the only benefit. It's just bragging rights. There's no monetary or no monetary rewards of any kind. I would say though that for me and my teams that I've been on, just about every team, the purpose of Gideon Games is not to accrue the most points. In other words, we don't really care that much about the points, and we're not necessarily number one on the leaderboard, and that's okay. But the purpose of Gideon Games for me is to increase my connection and my support. And it's amazing. I don't care if we're like the last person on the team board, the leaderboard. If I am feeling supported and loved and a part of this team, it makes a difference. So that's kind of a brief explanation. Teams use different ways to communicate, different platforms. Some teams use Zoom. Some teams use Marco Polo. Some use Messenger video. Some use WhatsApp. There's all kinds of different things out there, and so it's up to you, texting, phone calls, live phone calls, all of that. But again, the most important thing is that we do connect, that we feel that connection and that we feel that support and that love for each other. So, all right. Let's go ahead and let's start our questions. Now, the audience, I'm just going to tell you that I sent 22 different questions that I had that I thought would be interesting to discuss about the Gideon Games. And of course, not all of the questions. We're not going to go through 22 questions tonight, but each panelist selected their top 5 questions that they most wanted to respond to. And I also went ahead and chose 5 questions that I would like to respond to. So I hope you're okay with that if I join as a panelist as well as the host. Because again, Gideon Games is so near and dear to my heart, and I just really love it. And I'm excited to discuss this with all of you. So let's go ahead and we'll get started. Question number 1, share the story of your Gideon Game team, how you came to be part of them, and any history you want to share about the team. Who would like to respond to that question? Who is planning to? Darla and me. Okay, go ahead, Darla.
So it's so funny that I'm on the Radiant Rockstars team, and I believe you started that team a long, long time ago. So that's pretty funny. And the leader at the time that I joined it was Terry Walker. And I saw her at the Utah's Brightest conference, and she shared a presentation, and I'm like, I really want to get to know her. And I didn't know how that was going to happen. I just felt a connection with her. And then it wasn't maybe like 2 months later, and it was time for Gideon Games to renew, and she posted like, I'm looking for a new team member. I was a Bright Lifer or a part of the All Access at that time, and I just followed the directions she sent on there, and I joined up, and I've been part of that team ever since. First as a participant and now as a leader of that team, and I have been doing that for the last, I think maybe 2.5 years. So it's been kind of an interesting progression from a participant to a leader.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah.
The Radiant Rockstars. Yep, sure enough. I was a member of that team. All right. I wanted to share just a little bit of background. So I'm in different Gideon Game teams because I lead some teams and I'm the participant in some teams, right? So but the team that I've been on for a long time now is the Sunbeams team. And the Sunbeams team originally started out as the first all LDS team back in May of 2021. And actually, that is the reason that I joined Bright Lifers, was to be a member of this Gideon Game team that was an all LDS team that I knew would have a huge impact on my life. And I wasn't wrong. So we were Power Sisters, and then we did rebrand, and we had some changes in the members and all of that, and we became the Sunbeams about a year later, I think it was. And so that's kind of the history of the Sunbeams team, how it came to be, and it's wonderful. So, all right. Next question. Tell us about your Gideon Game team leader. What are her strengths, and what are some ways that she inspires the team? All right, who is responding to that? Jan and me. Jan, go ahead.
Connie Finlayson is my fearless team leader. And like Christ, she is an excellent example. She walks the walk with exactness, but while showing love and mercy to those who are struggling. And I just love Connie. She's amazing.
Oh, thank you. So on our team, we've had two different leaders. Originally, it started out that Genevieve Campbell was our leader. And oh, I just love Jenny Campbell. I mean, she is just amazing. She's so inspiring to me, so motivational and just loves wholeheartedly each member of our team. So she's just wonderful. And now our team leader is Shauna, and I could say the same things about Shauna. Just she is amazing at showing love to each one of us. I don't know how she does it, but I think that each one of us probably feel like we're her favorite, which I know isn't possible, but she's just incredible. So she has so many strengths that I can't list them all, but some of her strengths are compassion, love, organized, Crystal Vaser, strong program, but not judgmental of anybody else. She's there to support us no matter where we are. And I love that. And she's just inspiring. She spiritually inspires us, and she Bright Lane Eating inspires us in every way. So, okay. The next question is, do you have any unofficial team members? How have they been integrated into the team? Who would like to respond to that? Carolyn and Jan. Go ahead, Carolyn.
So actually, yes, and I am one of the unofficial members. And if I can just give a little background, I met the team and joined the team and then joined Bright Lifers. Same reason, just like Beth said, because I was invited to be involved with the team. And for me, it was a matter of helping them. Like, I felt so welcome. And they said, yeah, we don't care if you're officially, because I've been doing the program on my own, and everybody was okay with that. And everybody was still responsive to, how's it going for you? How's your food? Like all those things. And having somebody who eats like me and have the context of my life with people was so comforting to me. It was something I did not realize I needed, but I definitely wanted it. And to be able to be involved and to be able to be included before I was officially paying for the subscription was really helpful to me.
Oh, thank you. We love having you on our team, Carolyn. I know I speak for the whole team. We love you. And I feel like I identify so well with you because, it was the motivation for me to join Bright Lifers, right? To be
Yeah, I didn't know that until tonight. That's cool.
Yeah. Jan.
So I was unofficial last round because I didn't get signed up in time. My mom died, and anyway, things got put on hold. But so I was unofficial. But then this round, I am an official Bright Lifer, and but we do have unofficial people on our team, and they still participate fully in all the Zoom meetings, all the text chat, reporting to the group. They just aren't part of the official tally, but in every other way, they are full members.
I love that. I love that. And that is definitely something that I've adapted on the teams that I lead. If you're unofficial, it really makes no difference. You are official in every way, except I just don't send your score over, but you still report your score and you still participate in everything. Yeah. Yeah, but there's no distinction. So I love that. Thank you, Jan. Okay.
Still responding to this question too.
Oh, yes, you are too. I'm sorry, Darla. Yes.
That's okay. So as a team leader, it's been kind of interesting. I've never had unofficial team members until this time. So it was my first exploration in it. And I just had I'm spirit led in a lot of the things that I do. And I just had the impression that I needed to invite this woman to be an unofficial team member. She had been part of our group and of women that we had been with at the Utah's Brightest Conference. And she was just getting into boot camp, and I knew she was going to be a little bit further in her program, almost ready to finish well between the Gideon Game team start. So we invited her to be an unofficial team member, and she has brought so much joy to our team and vitality and energy, and her newness and her freshness to that program has come into our team. And some of the people that have been a little bit, like a little wonky, it's like, oh, that was really inspiring. Oh, I'm glad you shared that. That was such a great thing. And then that has, I don't know how the far-reaching impact of that has gone. But I will say from a team leader thing, I did need to do something different next time, is make sure I add 2 unofficial team members, not just 1, because the circle of doing buddies kind of gets a little messed up. And so I just stepped out of the rotation this time. And then I'm just reaching out to people as I see that people are struggling. And so I'm just playing that role this time, and I've missed it. But I'm so glad that we invited her to be part of that team, and who knows where she'll go from here. But so excited to do that. And I'll do that again.
Yeah. And for those of you that are team leaders or considering being team leaders, feel free to reach out to me. I have a template that is a 10 buddy, 12 buddy, and 14 buddy option. So if you have, it just plugs all the names in and does your rotation for you. So it's a 1 week. Anyways, let me know if you need that. All right. Thank you all for responding to that. Next question. What are the top 3 activities that bring unity to your team? Caroyln.
So you never know really what a group was like before you joined it. So I'm not really sure what the people who have been on the team for a while would say, but for me, the things that I have seen that bring unity, and Beth mentioned already, this was one of the first all the same religion teams. And so that alone does, but we also have a place where we can ask for prayer requests and we can pray for each other. So praying for each other and letting people know what we really need. That's one avenue that we have that I think brings unity to our team. And then we have a Talk Tuesday. So every Tuesday, we're all kind of listening to the same information. Someone's responsible to put out the message for us to be able to pick up and listen to that we can think about. And then a Wacky Wednesday question, which is often tied to the Talk Tuesday topic. But I've seen how being on the same subject or thinking about those same things has kept us feeling like we're together and doing something similar in our scattered different places in this country and outside the country, in fact. So that's been really helpful.
I love, and yeah, those 3 activities are definitely, they create unity for me as well. So thank you for sharing. I love that. All right. Next question. How much time does it take you to participate in the Gideon Games each week? What would you guess? Is it time well spent? Would you change the amount of time to be more or less if you could? Who wants to respond to that? Jan.
I spend probably between an hour and an hour and a half total throughout the week. We have a 40-minute Zoom call that we take turns leading the discussion for it. I think it's time very well spent. I find the interactions with my Gideon Games team members very strengthening and helpful. And they seem more engaged than my mastermind group or than my study buddy group was. Kind of more all in, more unstoppable. So I think it's been great and time very well spent.
I love that. Just an hour. That's not that much time. That's one of the common things. Like when I was in charge of the unofficial Gideon Games teams, that was something. And even now, it's a worry, it's a concern. I don't have a lot of time, but can you find an hour of focused time, and I would guess that our answers might not be that much different. I don't know. On the Sunbeams team, we do have a lot of Marco Poloing that goes on, so maybe we spend more time with the Marco Polo added in, right? But yeah, I think that it is a great use of time, and I love that you see that benefit. Okay, next question. What platforms does your Gideon Game team use for engagement? Marco Polo, Messenger, WhatsApp, Zoom, texting, phone calls, Messenger video? What is your favorite way to engage in the Gideon Game team besides in person? All right. What's your favorite platform? And who would like to respond to that? Caroyln.
Speaking of Marco Polo, but yes, our team has Marco Polo, but we also have separate threads on Facebook Messenger. So if there's our prayer request, that goes in a different place, and the Talk Tuesday is in a different thread, so that it's really easy to see, what it is that you need. And often people will get on and they'll say, "Hey, I haven't been able to listen to all of the Marco Polo," but periodically our group leader or somebody else will recapture elements of what people have said. So I don't know that it can take more time, I guess, but overall it doesn't take that much to just add a couple of thoughts. And I think I was instructed early on in a really helpful way, which is don't feel a lot of pressure to respond to everything everyone says. But I think those were useful instructions if you're going to use Marco Polo. And then having the separate place where we all can communicate, and then a different one for prayers and a specific one for Tuesday. So those are helpful. We use those tools on our team.
Yeah, I love that. And even just our regular messenger, right? We have a regular thread. It's just a general one. And there's a lot of conversation that goes on in there, like a lot of times during the accountability calls or when there's announcements or things like that, people will post in writing, about that, and we'll have a little discussion. So it's really nice. Okay, great. Let's see here. The next question is, do you have any rotating responsibilities on your team? And I think Darla, you were going to respond to this one. Yes.
So interesting, because when I first joined the team, the leader did everything, and then when it came to when I came into it, I just before that I said, you know what, let's do a question of the week, because sometimes it would lag. You'd have a call on Sunday. We have a call on Sunday, and that was great, but it just it just needed a little bit more oomph in the middle of the week. And so I started as a participant, I started doing a question of the week. Well, and then when I became the leader, I'm like, okay, well, I got to a busy time and I'm like, I can't do everything. And so how can I do this? And so started sharing that responsibility. And now we have a team leader for the week, and that rotates through all of our team from beginning to end. There's a schedule in our spreadsheet, so you can easily go in and see when you're doing the question of the week, and you post buddies. And they usually are the ones that's responding back and forth. We all do, but sometimes if things lag a little bit, that they participate in that. And that's been good. And it's been good to see how things shift and change, and the variety of questions that come that keep us all engaged. And we're like, that was a really good question. And it's provided a lot more variety than when I was just doing it myself. So I love it.
I love that. Yeah. As a team leader, props for dividing the responsibilities among everybody, right? And I think that's amazing. Thank you so much. All right, let's see here. Next question number 8. Share a time that you were struggling and your Gideon Game team made all the difference. Caroyln.
This is a vulnerable one, but I will answer it. So I've already said I was not in Bright Lifers. I was doing it by the book before I was on the team. But then I had gone to the Utah conference and got so much out of that. And then I was invited to be on the team, and I got so much out of that. And I just felt like if I am going to give anything to other people who are trying to do this or wanting to do this or seeing that I've been able to do it, I need to have information about what this really is. And so I signed up for the boot camp, but I didn't pay any attention to the fact that I had several trips, a big trip for my husband's reunion and a couple of other things that we were traveling for. And so I was really starting to feel kind of a lot of torn, I guess, between I'm trying to do this boot camp and I'm trying to get my program organized. And when I did it during COVID by myself, I was just home and I could just do it. But now we're going to travel, and I have traveled before and I have been fine when we've traveled, but now I know like there's more. And I was trying to plan with my husband, hey, can we get my food in order before we go? And he thought I was trying to plan every minute of our trip, and we were just struggling to feel like oh, what is going to happen? And I literally realized I know someone who travels, and I called our Gideon Games team leader and I said, can you please help me? I need just ideas for foods you can travel with that are gonna, where there's no grocery store, you're just driving in the middle of the Rocky Mountains. And boy, that next morning, I had a list of all the categories, all the things that fit in all the categories, what they measured, what they weighed, how you store them when you travel, everything I needed to really take the pressure off of preparing for my husband's family reunion. And it was such a wonderful moment where I thought, man, this is worth its weight in gold just to help the family and to help me have that support.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. Yes, it is so amazing to have the resources, right? When you do have a struggle and you reach out,
And
there is
Susan said
always
at the
somebody
conference,
there.
right? I'm a ninja at getting support. And I thought, wow, I have not looked at getting support from that angle. So it was fun.
Oh,
It was really helpful.
great. Thank you. All right. Next question. What is the greatest strength of your Gideon Game team? Your team's defining feature, if you will. Darla.
So our team is a faith-based team. We first started and we weren't all members of the Church of Jesus Christ or Latter-day Saints. And so various times and seasons, there have been other women that have joined from other faiths. And it has been really cool to see that love expanding and surrounding and enveloping them. Most of our team members stay from round and round and round, and I think we had one. And so it's just an opportunity for a new person to come in every time. And I love how they come in and they stay. And there's a real sisterhood that's there and share their strengths and that experience. We have a couple, one lady that she's really fun, and she has the dating drama, and a couple people said, "No, I can't leave the team because I have to see how this turns out," and so they have to keep coming back to see how her dating experience goes. But I definitely think that the strength is just being there for each other and in the nitty and gritty, and also there to celebrate each other's joys and that real connection that happens on our team. So I just love that.
I love that. Celebrating, right? Like
Mhm.
it's not that's what it's about too, right? Just celebrating each other. And
Mhm.
no matter where you are, there's something to celebrate. So I thank you so much. Um, okay. So we are on the final question. Is that right? Yeah, that was number 9. Number 9, greatest strength. Okay. Number 10, question number 10. All of us are going to respond to this one. Okay. So question 10, have you ever gotten together in person with your team? Have any of you met all of the team members from your Gideon Game team in person? What is the impact of in-person meetups with your Gideon Game team? Let's start with Jan.
Um, so 7 of us who live in Utah got together. So this week, I think it was Monday of this past week, and it was so great to meet them in person. In fact, I can see Pearl is on here, and I I just feel such a love and a sisterhood with these women. I feel like um, they know me better than people who have known me all my life. And they get me in ways that other people just can't understand, and vice versa. I feel like I know them and love them and have compassion for them and want them to be successful and happy. And um, so I haven't met all of the members in person, but had phone conversations with at least a couple of the ones that I haven't met in person. And it's so great to be able to hug these women who I love so much and um, share this struggle and journey together and be mutually supportive.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. All right, Darla.
Mhm. So we haven't all gotten together in one place yet. I have hopes that we will. Um, a lot of the Utah's Brightest Conference, that's where we've met up in person. Not all of us have stayed together in the same Airbnb or this year, the hotel rooms that we had. It was really cool to have a bunch of hotel rooms right next to each other, and so that we could just go in and out and share that with each other. But a couple years ago, I had an opportunity to do a lot of travel. And so every place I stopped that was close to a member of our Gideon Game team, I stopped and met up and had some really funny experiences. One lady, she and I, we went to a mall there and we walked out and she's like, let's go try furniture. So we went out and, picked out furniture for her new room. And another lady on the team, we just had a really good time. We met at a place that was bright and we went to lunch and just had a lovely, lovely time and connection. And all of them it just brings that bond so much closer when you meet each other in person. And it's different than anything else I've ever had before. Like before I would meet people and I'm like, yeah, okay. But these women, I really know them and they really know me. They know more about me than some of my family knows about me. And it's just really cool that when we meet, it's like, oh man, when we meet up next, it's no big deal. It's like as if no time has gone by, that there's just that close connection. So that has been really fun. I think there's only one person that I hadn't met in person, and so I'm ready to start that new round because we have new people that come every time.
Oh, that's beautiful. I agree. I feel like when I get together in person with my Gideon Game team, I feel like the popular girl, like that I never was in my entire life, right? Like these people all know me and love me, and despite my flaws, but it's just yeah, I agree. Anyways, okay, I'm gonna go next actually, and Carolyn, we're gonna save you for the last on this. So I have had the supreme pleasure of getting together with my entire Gideon Game team a couple of times now, all at once, at the Utah's Brightest Conference. Not every year though. We have missed some members, a couple of years, but this last year, all of us were there, including Carolyn, who wasn't yet a member, and we did something that we have never done before. We extended the Brightest in Utah conference by a couple of days to have a retreat, and that was just so divine. I just so life changing, honestly, to be together in an Airbnb with all 14. There's 14 of us on my team, on that team, and just beautiful. I also am so grateful that we've had the opportunity quite a bit to meet up one-on-one, kind of like you, Darla, but people traveling through, they come to Tucson. I've had, I think, 3 people visit me in my home here in Arizona, which, I mean, I'm off the beaten path, so it means so much, or in my town, in my area. And I have also been able to go to quite a few members' homes myself, to actually visit them in their space. And that's just wonderful. And hopefully I get to meet everybody in their home someday. I think that would be amazing to travel around and just actually see everybody's piece of life, that where they are. Anyways, so yeah, life changing to be able to give a hug and take pictures together and share those experiences and those tears and all the emotions, right? They come out, all of them. So I love it. Carolyn, what about you?
You are welcome in Texas anytime, Beth. So yay, thank you for letting people know. Yes, I officially met all of the members on my team before I was a member of this team. I planned the Brightest in Utah to go up and support my sister, and I didn't realize how supportive it would be for me. And then she said, well, then I'm cheap. So I bought an airline ticket to come home like after the conference because it was less expensive. And she wrote to me or texted me and said, my team is all getting together. And I thought, oh, good, I'll have several days. I can just hang out in your basement and process the conference. And she said, but I've talked to them all and they said you can come. And so I went, and it was, I mean, it obviously life-changing for me, but I have never shared so much of my personal story and then walked away with no regrets. Like I never felt one sadness, one worry, one concern at all. And people were so very caring and so very supportive. And I watched it wasn't just me. They were all doing this with each other and they were all supporting each other. And then on the Marco Polo, I would see people go out of their way to help somebody who lived close to them. Or I heard other people say, hey, we got together and finished this thing that we started at the retreat. And honestly, it was amazing. It was so beautiful to me, and it really showed me how then as I went through the boot camp and how to provide loving support, and I thought all of these women do this. That's what I was watching, and that's what I was seeing was everyone practicing what we believe and sincerely offering, all of them on their own journey, but caring for the success of the journey everyone else was on it to the same degree, and welcoming me out of nowhere. And I just was so grateful. Amazing, absolutely amazing, life-changing experience.
Yeah, better than women's conference or education week or anything out there. I don't know. Better than girls camp for sure. Being together with your Gideon Game team. All right. So that concludes the questions that I have that we decided to discuss. And I know that Pearl put a question in the chat. Let me see what we've got here. Pearl's question to all of us, and I'm going to open it up. So if anybody has any other questions, you can either unmute yourself and raise your hand if you'd like to speak your question, or you can type it into the chat. But the question that Pearl asked, oh, hold on just a second. I'm getting little pop-ups in my thing. Okay, she says, it would be great to have the teams share the questions that they discuss each week as a team. So does everybody want to just kind of, who wants to respond to that? Who would like to share questions that you discuss on your Gideon Game team in a given week? Maybe the types of questions or maybe specific questions that, Oh, Jan, you're muted.
Yeah. I can talk about it. So whoever is the discussion leader for the week comes up with one or two or three or four questions that they put into the group text thread a day or two or three before our Tuesday Zoom call, so that people have a chance to think about it. And then we just have 2 or 3 minutes a piece to go through and answer whichever questions we would like to. The topics can be spiritual about scriptures, or they can be about bright line eating. It can be, food prep advice or hacks, just pretty much anything that the discussion leader feels would be that they personally are wanting information about, or that they feel like the team would benefit from.
Awesome. Thank you. Caroyln?
We've had some fun and a variety, like Jan mentioned, and just a couple of would you rather questions that are fun. Would you rather rake leaves or peel apples? But when we then put a number 1,000, or then we've also had some like, what is one of the gifts that you feel like you have, and how do you use that gift to bless other people's lives? So a big variety across the board.
Yeah, sometimes bright line eating, totally related to bright line eating journey, and sometimes not, and each person just chooses the question, right? The Wacky Wednesday question each week. And it's just a question, whatever it may be, so it could relate to church, bright line eating, family, anything. So yeah, that's fun. Darla, yeah.
So we had a really fun one. So all the same things that everybody else has said, but this really fun one. What is your favorite bright line eating gadget? That one was really good and had a lot of conversation back and forth, and everybody shared their gadgets. So, and what they used for food prep.
That's great. Yeah, we've done something similar to that too, or just your favorite kitchen gadget, right? Yeah, but definitely. So I am a Gideon Game team leader right now for a team that is similar to Jan's team, where we have a Zoom call every week. And originally, when we started out, we would have everybody took a turn, leading the discussion, and they would try to get the question out on our messenger group at least the day before. We have their call on Saturday mornings right after the accountability call. And so Friday is kind of the deadline to get your questions, posted. And originally, when we started out, we would have one question that was kind of get to know you, generic, not necessarily Brightline Eating related, and one question that was Brightline Eating specific. So tell us about your favorite hobby, right? And then what do you do when you're traveling? And how do you travel, with Brightline Eating? What are some tips that you have? So just lots of different questions, and then of course I'm on the Sunbeams team, and I'm also on the Choose the Bright team right now. And we have the Wacky Wednesday question, which again is just left up to each member to choose. And it could be spiritual, it could be Brightline Eating, it could be anything, it could be a wacky question. I remember on the Sunbeams team, one that was so fun. Share a picture of your wedding dress. If you have a picture of your wedding dress, does it fit you now? Like I don't know if that was the exact question, but I just remember like sharing pictures of our wedding dress because that was and whether it was on our wedding day or whether it was later on, that was really fun. Another one that I really love that I've had in different groups. How did you meet your significant other? How did you meet your husband? Share the story. We've talked about your worst dates. We've talked about, your brothers and sisters. Share a little bit about the family you grew up in, traditions, all kinds of things. So I love that. Yeah. Okay. Shauna has a question. Do any of you get overwhelmed by the number of Marco Polos? What are some strategies what do you do when you're overwhelmed with the number of Marco Polos? Anybody have anything to offer there?
I can address that. Our group doesn't use Marco Polo, and I'm really glad we do not. I love Marco Polo, but only in groups of 5 or less people because it does get so overwhelming. So I love doing Zoom or some other kind of call like that where it's and then if we have things we want to share, we just do it through the text thread, which it's easy and quick.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of an anti big group Marco Polo person.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. And we don't have Marco Polo on my Zoom call group either. We don't do Marco Polo. I knew that I love Marco Polo, and I have several groups that are very active on Marco Polo. Not only Gideon Game teams, but other things as well. And I love it. I love it. I would not change it for the world. And I like the ability to listen to those Marco Polos at 3 a.m. when I'm awake, and to leave a Marco Polo at 3 a.m. when I'm awake. And, it's great. But I also knew that I didn't want to create a new active Marco Polo group to be a part of, because I was like, I'm just, I've got a lot. So it's wonderful having a group where there are no Marco Polos. And, going back to the point of how long do you spend, you can absolutely calendar, prioritize how much time you're going to need each week. Even with buddies, you can kind of guesstimate pretty good, and it's really helpful. So I think both methods are great. I wouldn't change Marco Polo on my Sunbeams team or on my Choose the Bright team, not at all. But I wasn't ready to add another Marco Polo team either. That's, yeah.
I would also say double speed is a way to help with the overwhelm.
That's right. And I have like a family plan. And so I get a number of free things each year that I can, like 2-month memberships that I can share with people for free. So I've shared that with people, and then they've ended up doing a family plan together with other people. You know what I mean? Like once that's over, it's like, oh, because when you pay the monthly or the yearly fee for the Marco Polo, you can do double speed. You can even do, I think, triple speed. I don't ever do triple, but you can do picture polos. There's all kinds of different features. Anyways, it really does save time. And I think you have to be a member to get the transcript option. Is that right? You have to be like the class member. The transcript is, you can read it. You can just read what they said. And there's also another thing that you can go in that will give you a summary of what was said. It's just a short summary. And that's amazing. So, Caroyln, did you have something to say? Oh, sorry, Darla, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say everything you just said. And the other thing that is a little bit different is that on our team, we've said if you leave a polo more than 5 minutes long, know that nobody is obligated to watch it. That's for you. And if you do watch it, great. You're good to go. But know that nobody will need to watch that. They can just skip over it. And we've also invited people when they get overwhelmed, like just stop, just go forward to where we are now and start there to say, I'm not going to go back and listen to all this, but I love you, and then move on.
We do that quite a bit, right? Like
Mhm.
I'm calling bankruptcy right now with the number of Marco Polos I have. I'm not
Mhm.
going to be able to catch up. And
Yeah.
that's just fine. That's just fine. Yeah, Carolyn.
I think for me, meeting the group personally first was really helpful because I noticed when we were all together in a group, we weren't all always paying attention to everything people were saying, but everyone was getting everyone could get attention. And I like the idea of having a Marco Polo where you can get on and talk and perhaps that, realize no one, it's for you because sometimes you do just need to get on and express what you're going through. And yeah. And then also though, if we had a Zoom call, in addition, I would not do that. I would have either a Zoom or a Marco Polo. And for me, then the Marco Polo is more adaptable to my schedule. So
Yeah, in the past, we did try
I
to have
didn't get
a
overwhelmed.
Zoom, not weekly, but I think monthly. We've done it before. And it's good, but because we do get together in person yearly, generally, right, all of us, and because we are on Marco Polo together, it's probably enough right now, for our lives. But yeah, I agree. And um, I was going to say one more thing. Oh, as the leader, I have made a commitment that when I've led a Marco Polo group in the past, right? I've made the commitment that if my Marco Polo is more than 5 minutes long, I will delete it. I promise you, I will never go over 5 minutes. And I have encouraged people to try to keep their Marco Polos to about 3 minutes. Not that there's a police, nobody, of course, sometimes it goes longer than that. But I would rather hear from people more frequently in shorter segments, right? Than, we haven't heard from you for 2 months and you're going to go on and give us a 25-minute, spiel about everything. It's much more potent, 30 seconds a couple of times a week, which I'm trying to learn that lesson because I'm really long-winded. But yeah, yeah. Darla?
We even suggested that if you do need to leave a little bit longer one, break it up into 5-minute sections so that you can stop and then go forward to the next one. So that it makes it
Right.
easier to stop and start if you get interrupted. Otherwise, if you're not a paid member, you have to go all the way back to the beginning and you lose your track. And
That's right.
so that's
You
another
can't
tip.
pause it as a non-paid member. You can't come back later.
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay. I've been a member for so long now of Marco
I
Polo.
know,
I
me
don't
too.
know. One other thing that is so helpful on our team, on Choose the Bright and on Sunbeams, actually both, we have certain members that are so good at quickly summarizing and acknowledging like, oh, this is going on in your life and this is going on in your life and prayers for you and so even if you are not caught up on Marco Polos, you can go in and you can say, okay, Bridget and Shauna, they are really good at recapping, and Jenny's pretty good at it too, and Connie's pretty, like there's certain people that I know I can go in and I'll probably get the scoop on what's going on in everybody's life. And I don't have time right now to listen to 26 Marco Polos, but I can listen to one or two and get an idea. So, okay. Allison says, I've told my team to keep their Marco Polo short, 3 minutes, etc. And not everyone does a Marco Polo very often anyways. Yeah. And sometimes that's a problem, right? Like you don't get enough engagement on Marco Polo, or you have just a few people that are leaving long messages and nobody else is really leaving messages, right? And so that can be challenging as well. I don't know. Does anybody want to speak to that? Have you seen that in the past, and do you have any ideas for that? Yeah.
One idea that I think is helpful is having the Wacky Wednesday question appear on Marco Polo because and then if people can make a commitment, like I will hear people say, hey, I want to get on and respond to the Wacky Wednesday question, and then they'll usually share a few things that are going on in their life. So I do think that encourages people to show up and just give a little because we do care about each other and we do want to know how everybody is doing and we do miss each other when they're not there. And so I do think it is helpful to have something maybe midweek that reminds that people can commit to, check in, let us know how you are, let us know that you're doing well.
Yeah,
Or
yeah. The Marco Polo. I mean, it's usually on our team on Sunbeams. It's posted in the chat. It's also posted on Marco Polo. Like with a video. but there's also the words, Wacky Wednesday question to kind of, with an arrow or whatever, like the text,
You
Marco
can find
Polo
it.
or Wacky Wednesday question, so that people who are not caught up can quickly find what the Marco Polo, the Wednesday question is, and they can respond to it even if they're behind and they don't have a lot of time. So that's really, really, really helpful. Great. Let's see, what other questions do we have? Anybody with another question?
I have a question.
Oh yeah, Jan.
So I thought we could only be on one Gideon Games team as a member and one as a leader. But I'm hearing
that is correct.
you're on
Let me
multiple
explain a little bit. Yeah, I participate in 3 right now. So I participate in Choose the Bright, where I was the leader for quite a few rounds on Choose the Bright. I'm not currently the leader. Alicia is the leader of our team. But I am unofficial. No, actually, I am official on that one. Okay, let me explain. I'm official on Choose the Bright, and then I'm a team leader on Bright Connections is the name of my team, that I'm a leader, right? So that gives me the opportunity to be a participant as well.
Right.
And then on Sunbeams, currently I am unofficial. I'm not an official member, but I'm treated as if I'm official in every way. I just don't, my score doesn't count towards.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So, and 3 is a little bit much, I will tell you right now. So I don't necessarily recommend it for anybody, but it's been great. I love all 3 of my teams. And, I wasn't always on 3 teams, it just worked out that way. So, okay. Anything else? Questions? I don't see anybody's hands raised.
Can I just put in a plug for Gideon Games teams?
Oh, please do.
When I was in Brightline Eating before, there was no such thing as Gideon Games. And so when I joined this time, 8 years later, got in, and I knew I need support. If I'm going to make this work this time, I'm going to need support. And so to find out, oh, there's this thing called Gideon Games, and to have it be so helpful and impactful, and as a recovering people pleaser, I'm like, I'm not going to let my team down. So it's very motivational for me to stay bright. And I just love my team members and the sisterhood that we share. And it's been a really important part of my second time around. So thank you to my team.
Oh, it's beautiful. I will share that I've been a member of a lot of Gideon Game teams, including official and unofficial. And especially like when I was doing unofficial, sometimes I got on a team where I just didn't really gel with it didn't really feel as connected as I wanted it to. I didn't really feel like I belonged there. You know what I mean? Like this is my spot. And so I had to do a lot of, and I created a lot of teams, and I've helped other people create, put together teams as well. And it sometimes it takes a few trials, right? A few trial and error situations before you find the right team. So even if you've been a member of a Gideon Game team in the past and you didn't feel like it was as supportive as you wanted it to be, maybe it took too much time and you felt really overwhelmed with it, then I would just recommend that suggest that that's probably not, it's not the right team for you, And I know that we have a number of all LDS Gideon Game teams. We also have a lot of people that have just registered to be on Gideon Games without knowing who they're going to be matched with, right? You can do that and just be matched with whoever Samantha that works for Brightline Eating matches you with. And that can be a really good thing as well, So I also want to put a little plug in that there are often LDS teams that are looking for members. So if that's something that you want, or to be a member of the faith-based team, that Darla is leading, there are opportunities to connect with leaders in our Brightest Eaters for sure. So watch for that. Our next Gideon Game round 29 will begin November 1st, right? November 1st. And so, watch for people to post about openings and things like that. And there may be somebody out there who's interested in being a Gideon Game team leader and starting a new all LDS or faith-based team. If you want to do that, reach out. I can help you. I can help you put that team together. I really can. If you're feeling like, that's daunting. I've got the spreadsheet that, the template that's so easy, and I can help in any way if you want to do it, because I'm sure we have a lot of LDS people who've joined recently that would love that opportunity. So if you have aspirations to be a team leader and you want any help, just let me know if I can help you. All right. Anything?
Can I
you,
just
Beth.
share? Are we done?
No.
I was going to say, I have one thought that I would like to share is that, I started Gideon Game because I knew I needed to expand my connection. I had such a limited base because I started this with, I can just read the book, I can do it myself, and I read the book so many times and I knew it inside and out, backwards and forwards, and I could just do it. I had been part of 12 step. I've got this. And so then when I really came all the way in and sat all the way down, I realized I don't have enough support. And I needed a variety of support because sometimes if the support that I was counting on, that one or two people, that's not enough. And if something happened to them or they're busy or whatever, that's a lot of pressure on them. And so to expand that those people that I know, and that's what Gideon Games did for me, is help me to meet so many new people and to connect with all sorts of people. And whether they're still on this team or whether I was on another team, I'm just so grateful for the connections that I've made. And it's lovely to go to the Utah's Brightest Conference now because I know so many people because of all those different teams that I've been part of. And all have been a blessing in my life, even if I haven't always stayed. So
Right.
I'm
I
grateful for
love
that.
that. That's great. And I agree 100%. Oh, thank you. Yeah, every
Mhm.
team has brought enrichment to my life in some way. There's definitely
Mhm.
connections I've made on every team I've been a member of that have blessed me so much. So it's great though when you find a team where you think, oh, this is just this perfect spot for me. Every single member of this, I can't imagine our team without one single person, like just one person. Like you couldn't remove anybody, and I'd be okay with that. So it's just really amazing what we've got. And so thank you all. And any last questions? I think we're done, but if there's any last comments or questions out there. Nope. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Have a
Thank you,
wonderful
Beth.
Sabbath evening.
Thank you.